Hey guys. So for this final project, there's a lot of files, and it's really important that you sort of keep them organized and especially that you keep all of the links together. And so in order to help facilitate that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I want you to work with the InDesign file and the Illustrator files. And in a subsequent tutorial, I'll show you how we can make your design using, if you want to, you can use Rhino, and how we can take that design, that model that you make, and then bring it into Illustrator to help make the drawings in Illustrator and have those automatically update into the InDesign templates, which is what you're going to use for your final submission. Okay, so in order to do that, here, if you guys look at our Canvas page, you'll see that there's a pop-up template folder. And so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is download that. And that is a folder that has all of the required files. So I'm gonna actually just save it here to my desktop, and it'll take a little bit, hopefully not all the full 2 minutes here that it says. But that's gonna download that zipped folder, and then we're gonna unzip it, and but that'll keep everything sort of linked together. And I think that is crucial, especially as you're using InDesign. Okay, so we'll give this here just a minute to download, and then we're gonna go ahead and open it up and take a look at it together. So hopefully, we did this already in class, but this is just a good review of the process. Okay. Okay, so our file has downloaded. Now I'm going to show it in its folder, and I'm going to extract it. So right click, extract all, and save it. It looks a little bit different, obviously, if you're on a Mac, but the process is essentially the same. And you'll see when you get, and it opens up the folder, inside of that folder is an InDesign file, and it has links to the actual Illustrator files and some additional information. Okay, so we can just go ahead and open that InDesign file. And when you open the InDesign file, it might take just a second to open it. And it's going to say there might be some missing fonts. That's not a huge deal. Most of you, if you're on Macs, already have Helvetica, so you won't even see this. Okay, so when you open up your InDesign file, you're going to see that it has here on the right-hand side, you can look it through the pages, and you can see that it's a document that has 9 different pages. Okay, so your final submission for everybody should have all of these 9 pages filled out. Okay, so that first page is our project description, which is that 500-word description. It doesn't have to be 500 words, but maximum 500-word description of your project. And then you'll see that there are specific views of your pop-up that I would like to have, right? So the first one is a view of the interior from either side. The second one is a view of the exterior. The third one are like elevations of each, and fourth are elevations of each of the units. The fifth page is a top view of the units on the site that just very briefly gives us a sense of how they could be arranged, and if there's any additional pieces that are part of it so that people interact with them. And then finally, the last 2 images here are kind of 3D views of it. And so this image will be replaced by a 3D view of your choice. Same thing with this one. And then that last page is if there's anything else that you would like to add to the presentation, that's where you can go ahead and put that. Okay, so now let's actually look at how these files are linked and the use and how we can update them. So you'll see actually if you go into here and you go to layers, in InDesign, we have different types of layers. And in this case, our presentation is on a locked layer. So if you try to click on it, it won't move anything. But if you unclick it, now you can see we can click on the different pages, right? And if I right click on that selected image, I can actually go down here and select edit with, and then I can choose Adobe Illustrator because that linked file is an Adobe Illustrator file. So if I do that, it will open that file in Illustrator. And you'll see that then we can directly edit that file in Illustrator. And it will make the changes in our InDesign file. Okay, so now I'm here. I have it open in Illustrator. I have my file ready, and I can, for example, here I can see, oh, actually, this file has some layers as well, and those layers just demarcate, the shaded portions, which are just suggestions of how you should see the object itself as a kind of like thing that must be enclosed, right? So, but I could decide to turn those off. I could, and then I could also make my design here. And so you could just go ahead and make this freehand, or you could make it using the Rhino tutorial that I will show you in just a second. But essentially, right, we could imagine here, we could imagine building something, right? So I could take some lines, and let's say I'm going to say that this is going to be a kind of horizontally oriented hanging system or something else. So I could put these, this is my initial, let's say, quick design sketch on it. Right, so I would do that, and maybe on there, I'll have some kind of, I don't know, some kind of boxes or something that are here, right? So I get to say, oh, I want a box that's like right around here. And it's going to have a certain depth, obviously. So I would have to draw that in. So let's quickly go ahead and draw some kind of depth for this object. Now this is a very, I would say this is a sketch, obviously, not your final design. Hopefully the final design is, or not hopefully, it must be done to a specific type of scale, right? But anyway, you see here, I'm making some changes to this base Illustrator file. And so then if I just go ahead and click File and Save, it'll save this in just a second. Now it's saved. And now if I go back to my InDesign file, you'll see that the changes are automatically made to that InDesign file, right? So we can very quickly make sure that your files are all linked. You can actually, even within InDesign, you can see here, you can go to Object Layer Options and decide to turn off some of your layers from your InDesign file on or off. So here we go. That now it looks like it used to in the Illustrator file. Okay, so in that way, you'll be able to directly edit the base file for each of these different layout pages, and that way, put together your presentation. Okay. So in the next tutorial, I'm just going to briefly show you how to take, if you decide to make your model in Rhino, how to take that information from Rhino and then put it into these base files as well. But this is the first step in the process.